For tonight's meeting agenda, we'll have our normal call to order, which will start with our flag salute. Just a few announcements, and then Mr. Price is going to come up here and give us an update on the Park Vista project, and which is still up by Green Mountain, correct? Yeah, that's really great. Then Michael Cruz, who was just up until recently a Santa Clarita Park Commissioner and a CCAC board member, will give us an update on the Canyon Country Community Center. Cheryl Lima is supposed to arrive at sometime right here within the first hour. She's taking classes, but she's going to come and talk about the Children's Bill of Rights that she's proposing, and also the proclamation that the City Council went through and voted on last night to ensure that everybody knows that we are a city that respects diversity. Then Rick Drew, who is president of the CAG and also president of the Canyon Country Board, will come up and talk about the Via Metro pedestrian bridge. And it's a little bit of controversy of it because it lands on Burmite property, and we've been told for all these years that we couldn't build on that property at all until everything was done. Then lastly, if we have time, I'll talk a little bit about Measure H. It's kind of an overview of what I wrote in the Gazette, if you've read it, but it's an issue of another quarter-cent sales tax and how much money it actually generates and how much it takes right out of your pocket. So we'll discuss that again. Then our version of public participation, which is the first 5 people that want to talk for a minute, and then the next meeting preview, and the meeting will adjourn promptly at 9 o'clock as always. So you know that every month I come up with something about some event or somebody that was a hero, but this time I changed the flavor of things because last weekend we went to, I went with a gentleman that recruited me to Chinatown for Chinese New Year and their firecracker run. And it was really amazing. They run it every year. On Saturday they have a bicycle race, and on Sunday they have a 5K, 10K, and a kiddie run. And they also have performers and vendor areas, and you never realize that something of this magnitude goes on. It's only like 35 miles from here. But a lot of people, and sometimes you got to figure there's a lot of money to be made in this as well for and they support a lot of the activities at the local school systems. They had over 400 volunteers to run this. We were riding motorcycles and escorting the runners up through the course to make sure they were on the right side of the road. And at the end of the event, they take all 400 volunteers into one of the local restaurants and give them a very, very nice lunch. We just happened to have one of the board members come and sit with us, and it was very, very, very nice to talk with a board member that was trying to get younger groups involved and bring them up in the process. And then as we were leaving, we ended up talking to the whole board for a while. I was very impressed with them. So when I talk about their heroes all around us, sometimes it's just a hero of running something that helps the community over a long period of time, and I thought it was well worthy of letting you know about it. So with that, Judy, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
Hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. For just a couple of quick announcements. One was a little bit of items of interest. You know, I stopped putting up video statistics at the meetings, but what I was really amazed with was a presentation that Tom Clark did for the Sand Canyon Plaza last month. Had 337 views on YouTube. Was probably one of the most viewed presentations that we've done. And so I think it's very worthwhile that we have developers come and talk to us about what's going on. Also, just one thing that just absolutely I thought was amazing was at the city council meeting last night. I was talking to some people about this a little bit earlier. It was agenda item 8, and it was a change to the library ordinance and the library policy. And it was a change to the library policy that said adults, in order to go into the children's section of the library, had to be escorted by a child or get special permission for the librarian to be in there. So I looked at this, I read this in the staff report, and the staff report said, well, last year there was about 47 problems that we had throughout the year, but that's kind of normal. So I'm reading, I'm going, why are they doing this? I mean, I went up there saying, you've been telling us public safety is so important. This must be a public safety issue, right? Something must have happened. Is this happening in all the libraries? Is this a real problem? Is the kids really in danger? What's going on? And I was met with 4 people that didn't say a word. They had no clue why it was there. Keller finally turns around and says, well, it's the homeless. And it turns out he didn't have a clue either. So today I went to the Old Town New Hall Association meeting, and it just happened that the librarian from the New Hall Library was there. So after the meeting, I walked up to her and I said, maybe you can help me a little bit. I was at the council meeting last night, and he came up with this ordinance about adults not being allowed in the children's section of the library. I said, what's happening? Is something really bad going on? Is it all the libraries? And she looked at me and she goes, well, I wish they wouldn't have done it that way. It turns out that she said that there were adults that were in the children's section complaining about the noise that the children make. So they wanted to make sure that they had a way to ask the adults if they had a problem with the noise to leave and go to the adult section. So I looked at her and I said, you're telling me that they established an ordinance that says adults cannot go in the child section without being escorted by a child or getting special permission because the adults were complaining about the children's noise? And she said, oh yeah, that's it. That was it. So sometimes I think the inmates are running the asylum. It's unbelievable. All right, you know that we've been pitching at the Canyon Country Advisory Committee and the San Clarita Community Council are looking for help and some new board members. So if you're interested in helping or help put on the presentations, or I'm also looking at trying to get us some time on the new low power station that's coming up. So in order to do that, we really have to be a little more professional in the way we handle the meetings, and we could sure use some help. So if you want to help, just see Rick Drew or see me, and we'll get you started right away. This, I know, is an eye chart. It was brought out at OTNA. It is a total list of the 2017 items that the city is sponsoring in Newhall. I'll put it in PDF and I'll include it with the links so that you can read it. But the thing that I looked at and thought about is that how many things are they doing in Canyon Country? 1. And got 4 a month for 8 months. So maybe we should talk to them a little bit and we'll see what's going on. That's all I have for announcements.
People get off the program. You either stay on the programs. The problem with government programs is you either, even if you do get the help, they do nothing to help you bridge to getting off of the programs, because if you earn more money than what they're willing to give you, then you either lose the benefits or you lose what you're doing. So they don't make it work. But what I came up to say was, I really think it's time that everybody started really supporting Alan and getting him help as far as people working for a television show, sponsors, to get it out on the airways, because a lot of people don't get newspapers, a lot of people are not computer savvy, and I think the best way to reach as many people as possible in Santa Clarita is to help support him get a television show on SCTV and whatever other local stations that they're having.
All right, real quick. Coming up next month, we're going to have Vista Canyon Ranch here for an update on Vista Canyon. And in April, we're going to have the mayor here to have a little chat with us. Okay, yeah, he's already committed. And I'm going to go after Mr. Miranda and see if I can get him here in May. So thank you very much for choosing to visit the Canyon Country Advisory Committee, and I hope to see you back here next month.